All right, let's get right into it. So, another weekend of football is right in the books. So, we've had four key matchups, and the results are very interesting to say the least. So, the first result that I want to discuss and talk about is what happened in Buffalo. I mean, look at the score and look at the stats. I mean, both teams played a very solid game, very good overall back and forth. And Buffalo, was set and poised to win this game, to be on top, and to take it to the next level, to finally beat the arch nemesis, and to go to the AFC Championship game and take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. But as always, for one reason or another, it does not matter if the Buffalo Bills are the better team on the football field. When it comes to playing the Kansas City Chiefs, something always seems to happen. Something always seems to go wrong for the Buffalo Bills. And it doesn't matter how many people you throw in the pit, it doesn't matter how many tables you break, it doesn't matter what kind of generational talent you have in your roster. The Kansas City Chiefs seem to always have your number. And this to me is just eerily similar and a repetition of the early 2000s in the Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning rivalry. It's like no matter what year it was, no matter how good Peyton played, it just like seemed like Tom Brady, who is arguably a less flashy and a less you could say like not as elite of a quarterback, not as a studied quarterback, just seemed to always find a way to win at the very end and take his team to the next level, right? And it wasn't until later, after the dynasty, after the first dynasty in the Patriots dynasty, that people figured out how to pick Brady apart and to throttle the New England Patriots in a way that would give him the ability to win the Super Bowl, or other teams a chance in the conference to win the Super Bowl. And that's what's really happening here. Buffalo is the better team. And if it were not for a last second kicking tragedy, which Buffalo is very, very painfully familiar with that, um, the Buffalo Bills would have had a chance to go into overtime and play Patrick Mahomes, which again, you don't know what would have happened there. I actually don't know what would have happened on the next drive. I mean, Patrick could have probably like just kicked the field goal in response and actually won that game. So it wasn't guaranteed that if the kicker hit that they were going to win. But that being said, Buffalo played a cleaner game. It felt like Buffalo did everything right, but Buffalo lacks the one key piece, and that's the one key piece that a lot of teams in the AFC lack against Patrick Mahomes. You don't have those legendary defenses. You don't have the Steelers or the Ravens that have built up defenses that are able to match Patrick Mahomes where he's at. Now, he's a mobile quarterback. We've seen those before. The Michael Vicks, the Russell Wilsons, the Lamar Jacksons, which, Lamar Jackson's going to play next weekend. But we haven't seen the defenses step up in a way to neutralize those types of quarterbacks in this day and age. And that's coming. I mean, that's absolutely going to come at some point because, again, if the offense is too good, teams are going to start drafting defense to counteract that. And Buffalo just hasn't gotten there yet. That being said, Buffalo got absolutely rocked, and I feel for the Buffalo franchise because, man, what another heartbreak. And this time, you thought all the cards were in your favor. The deck was stacked. You get to play Kansas City at home. But just like I predicted like later last week, I said that, Patrick Mahomes has a chance to go on the road, play in an, ironically, a warmer environment, and to do something that he's very familiar with doing. And that is just absolutely breaking the hearts of Bills fans everywhere. So, with that being said, do the Buffalo Bills have a chance next year? Should we even be talking about next year? Should we? And I think we should. I think we should talk a little bit about next year. I think Buffalo is going to come back from this one. I think you guys are going to build a stronger team. This year, you had a lot of chances to take the number one seed. You've had a chance. You started off slow, but then you finished strong, and you did what a lot of teams would only wish they could do. I mean, you guys win playoff games in the times that it counts, and you guys always seem to advance when it matters, and you're just like one piece away, like maybe one edge rusher or one safety or somebody away just from being that next level great, like to be a real Super Bowl contender. Now let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, as you see here, like Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he didn't have a particularly, excellent, particularly like really, really, how to say this, like amazing, super awesome day, but neither did really Josh Allen. Although Josh Allen rushed a lot more than Patrick Mahomes, which is not something that I expected, but still. Um, Patrick Mahomes is looking like the guy once again. I mean, he's already, if he wins one more Super Bowl, it will officially be a dynasty. And he's chasing that, okay? Because he wants to at least have one dynasty. Because if he doesn't have a dynasty, he can't even be in the same conversation with Tom Brady, right? Because Tom Brady's already beaten him, so on and so forth. And Patrick Mahomes is now get to go to Baltimore, play the Baltimore Ravens, who do have a very good defense, who have shown that they are no slouches, because they just beat the brakes off of the Houston Texans and just stop the hype train, whatever little hype train that was developing there. Like they just stopped it dead in its tracks, and now they're gonna have to face Patrick Mahomes, who at this point in the season is peaking and having a performance. Who he had two back-to-back open dome, cold weather games, and now he gets to go back again and play in Baltimore in an environment that he's very familiar with. That's not too far dissimilar from the Kansas City environment. And I think, like I said, preliminary prediction, I think Patrick Mahomes is just going to go, repeat and go back to the Super Bowl. Because like I said, Lamar is not, he hasn't made a run, right? Lamar's only ever won one playoff game in any one given season. So he beat the Titans a couple years back, and now he beat the Texans. Two teams which were not exactly peaking at the right time. Not exactly with a lot of momentum in there. And I think the Ravens are going to have their hands full. If the Ravens show up the way they did against the Texans, they will absolutely get demolished because they started off slow. And I guarantee you, Kansas City, they're going to look to start off quick. They're going to look to keep the momentum going. They have a lot of momentum from this game. They're figuring stuff out, and they just showed it against the Bills, like just how good they really are. Because even when you play a good or near perfect game against them, they're still going to find a way to win. And you know what, Buffalo, I feel for you. Now it's time to go for Buffalo. It's time to go into the draft. It's time to go back to the locker room and develop a legendary defense. Okay, you can help Josh Allen as much as you can. Maybe get somebody in the free agency, but you're not going to outduel this guy. You're just not going to outduel Patrick Mahomes. So what you got to do is you got to shut him down and do what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did a few years ago. Draft and build an insane pass rush and do what the Ravens did to Tom Brady years back and what the Steelers did. Just you're going to have the Troy Polamalu's, the Ray Lewis's of the world to stop a guy like Patrick Mahomes. And nobody in the AFC right now has it. So this is why I'm very confident about Kansas City. And again, Patrick Mahomes did what people weren't expecting him to do. He went out and he won a game on the road, okay, at a much earlier time in his career than Tom Brady, which means that he might be even more dangerous than Tom Brady in the playoffs, okay? And Lamar, again, doesn't have that history of success. So we'll see what's going to happen. I think, if I had to make a preliminary prediction, I think Patrick Mahomes goes in and runs away with it, and we'll see him back in the Super Bowl in no time flat. I could be wrong, but again, like I said, I just don't see this Ravens team going out there and performing and having two back-to-back wins. Lamar's finally where he wanted it to be 4 or 5 years ago with that other Ravens squad, but it's again, the trust and the faith is not there because of that slow start against Houston, okay? And I guarantee you, Patrick Mahomes, with this momentum, he ain't having a slow start. He's going out there and he's delivering for his fan base once again. And we're about to see a Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl once again. Okay? We might circle back to this video. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Who cares? But, that's where I'm drawing the line. And we'll see what happens in the coming week. All right. Well, with that, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I'll talk to y'all later.